Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If I like it's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out on this chokehold. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm stone cold.
What is up, everybody? This is We Too Deep. We're back with the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast. We got DJ Wavy D here with me. How's it going?
Doing great, doing well, doing super. How are you?
I'm good. So as you can see by the title of this, we are predicting the Royal Rumble on this episode, but we got a lot more to talk about as well. We got some breaking news that came out today. First is The Rock is now on the board of TKO, which may lead to maybe some WrestleMania rumors. I don't know. But the bigger news is Team Red over here. They have a new home starting January of 2025. They will be on Netflix. So I do want to take some time to talk about this. What do you think about this deal for Raw?
You know what I'm saying? All I gotta say about hit up on my shorties, like, yo, you try Netflix and tussle, like, you know what I'm saying? But no, I'm conflicted. I have some, I don't know. I'm indifferent right now. I like it and I don't like it. So me personally, I still do watch linear cable, albeit not as much as I used to. I mostly just use it for like sports, ESPN, like the occasional, I flipping through, see a movie or a sitcom. I do watch a lot of YouTube and streaming stuff, but like, I love, just getting home, turn on the cable, 8:00, Monday Night Raw comes on, no problem. Friday Night SmackDown, 8:00 comes on, no problem. I just think that, there could be some technical difficulties that could happen, especially because Netflix, from my knowledge, is it, they haven't done too many live streaming events so far. They might have done like a comedy special here or there, but from my knowledge, they haven't done too many live streaming stuff so far. But I'm sure people at Netflix and the people at WWE and their production teams can get this together, make it run smoothly. We do pay for cable. Cable is expensive, but I feel like at this point, like if you get rid of cable, you have to get like 4 or 5 subscription services just to keep up with everything that you want to watch. So
Right.
I definitely has its pros and cons, but I'm interested in seeing what they do with Netflix. I wish they kind of stay on Peacock. I do like Peacock as a service, but Netflix is the OG, so we'll see what happens.
Right. I have sort of the same thoughts as you. I will say, though, this is sort of, it makes sense. I said myself to, Cody and James, I told them, prepare. This was back in like 2019, prepare for cable to go away. There was even a push that I was even making at one point of putting everything on the WWE network and sort of getting ahead of the curve. From my knowledge, this is just for Raw, though. I know a lot of people are sort of thinking that SmackDown and the PLEs and all of that. I don't think that's going to happen. WWE is very smart right now, where they've really positioned themselves along every single platform. You got NBC Universal. Now you have Netflix. Fox doesn't want them. It doesn't look like so. They're leaving. But again, so they're going to fill the USA spot. My one concern with this was Nick Khan was on Pat McAfee's show, and he was asked is it going to stay on Mondays. His answer basically was, at this point, yes, but there's still 11 months before the deal takes place, and things could change. I have a feeling, because of the amount of competition on Mondays with football and college football, pro football, and a lot of other sporting events, like championship games, happen on Monday. I have a feeling Raw is moving off of Monday.
Okay.
That's just my initial feeling. However, Nick Khan did mention during the college football playoffs this year, Raw still ran like a 0.6 in the 18 to 49 demo, which is sort of the major demo that networks care about, which is really good for Raw for that type of competition. So who knows? We'll see what happens. I like Netflix because I think this means Raw will be cut to 2 hours.
Okay.
And I think it takes away the restrictions of being just PG. I don't necessarily think I don't think we're ever going back to the Attitude Era. I think fans have to get that out of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I do think not having the network, so things like the bleeping of the holy shit chant. I think on Netflix that won't have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the product could get a little bit more edgier, which I think it would work well. I don't really think they have to change the product, though. That's not the main concern. My main concern is Raw being 3 hours is too long. If you cut it down to 2, I think everyone would be happy with that.
So I've been around to see, just like you, I've been around to see Monday Night Raw in its 2-hour format and its 3-hour format. Like, I do like Raw. It's 3 hours. I feel like, it's fairly easy for me to digest. I know a lot of people, they're talking about like, oh, I dozed off or I fell asleep or 3 hours, so much to go through. But like, I've been so accustomed to having Raw at 3 hours that I like it.
I will say with Triple H, it's been a little bit easier because there's a lot less filler. Vince McMahon just put a lot of boring shit in the middle of his 3 hours.
Yeah.
Vince or Triple H has sort of spread everything out. The matches tend to go a little bit longer, and are a little bit more entertaining. So I'm not necessarily against the 3 hours. I just think from a more, I think personally that if they cut it down to 2 hours, a lot more viewers would be, interested in sitting there because I don't know. Sometimes around 10, 11 o'clock, it does get. Now, I'm also the type of watcher where if I'm not interested, I'm just going to have it as background noise and I'm going to be on my phone or something. So I do that even with like Raw, SmackDown now. If the segment I don't necessarily care about, I'm just going to, I'll listen to it rather than watch.
Do you feel that when you watch SmackDown, the 2-hour program, do you feel that they need more time? Like, I feel like Raw has too much time and SmackDown needs more time. Like, I feel like is 2.5 hours the sweet spot? Like, I feel like SmackDown isn't fitting enough in their or can't fit enough in their 2 hours, and some stuff goes by too fast.
I can agree with that. I can understand where you're coming from with that. SmackDown sometimes does feel like it is rushed,
or just flies by too fast.
It flies by. Especially with the amount of stars SmackDown has. I mean, I get it. Charlotte's hurt, so she's not going to be on TV in a while. But LA Knight doesn't get enough time. Roman is not there all the time, but the Bloodline, when they're there, they get about an hour of the show. And so, yeah, I mean, I could see where you're coming from with.
I mean, I guess another way to counter it is when they do go to Netflix, they might have less commercials, or the commercials won't necessarily be like, oh, here's our Duraflame logs or our Duralast batteries. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll probably be like more WWE sponsored commercials or Netflix commercials.
Right. I feel like the commercials for Netflix would be similar to how they do like the PLEs, where it's like, here, check out this random documentary. It'll be interesting to see because Netflix isn't affiliated with any of the big networks. So how do they promote the PLEs since they're going to be on Peacock? Because like SmackDown, they don't really promote Peacock on SmackDown because it's on Fox and it's a competitor. Yeah. So, I think I'm with you. I think it'll be, or like the commercials would be like the stupid like Snickers ads or. Yeah.
Do you currently have Netflix?
I don't. I actually canceled it because this is what I wanted to really talk about with this. It's the price.
Netflix
they jumped it up to about $20 an hour. Not an hour, $20 a month, and I was like, no, that's there's not enough for me to watch on. I'm not interested in a lot of the stuff on Netflix. I really only paid attention to the comedy stuff on there,
Mm.
to be honest. And then I watched Outer Banks.
Now,
Um,
I do know they have like different tier pricing.
they do,
I'm not familiar what each tier like has. I know that like one tier is like lower quality. You can only
Mhm.
watch it on one device at a time.
Yeah. So I had the 4K, which I don't even have a 4K TV, so I don't know why I was paying for that. but I could watch it on like 5 different devices and have like 14 different accounts. I don't know what it all had, but it was like 20 something a month.
But
I'm gonna
it's not like Peacock's where Peacock has their different tiers are ad based. So the lower tiers you
right.
get ads, where the premium one you don't have no ads.
Right, so that's not like that. Netflix, to my understanding, don't have ads. They don't.
Okay.
So like their basic tier is like $6.99 right now, and I don't think it has ads on that one. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um,
It's not a
but
sponsor. It's not an ad. You know what I'm saying? It's not an ad for Netflix.
right, no, but
I don't pay for it. My sister paid for it. I pay for Disney Plus.
understood. But I mean, I don't really watch a lot on Netflix, so I got rid of it. But so I'm sort of conflicted on if Raw is important enough to me to have to watch every week if I
Yeah,
want to get it back. But I was
just
gonna have to
the
get it
basic
back.
tier.
Yeah, I was gonna get it back anyway because, like I said, I watch Outer Banks, and that's actually about to come back on.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so I may just keep it. Um, at this, you mentioned linear cable. At this point, we're all gonna need Paramount and Disney Plus and all of it if we want to watch the shows that we watch. So that's just the way the world's actually gonna. It's just the way it is. There's more money and more reach with
Mm.
Netflix. The scary part with it is if this works, I feel like this could be like a testing ground for like big events like the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people
Oh,
don't believe the Super Bowl will be streamed. I believe in the next 3 to 4 years, the Super Bowl will be on a
I
streaming
think
service.
I think it might have a streaming option, but I can't see in the near future Super Bowl being put on solely streaming just because like for a lot of people that's the one game they'll watch all year long. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see it being solely streaming. I can see a streaming option,
Right.
but I can't
Um,
see them taking off cable.
we'll see. I don't know. I can see your side. I just feel that, I mean, we had 20 something million people watch the Chiefs game the other week on Peacock. And I think that
Hmm.
was a test to see if fans would uh, um, pay for these services. Um, we'll see, though.
Uh,
I find it pretty interesting that Netflix got into it because, like you said, they've never done anything live outside of, I think the only thing I know that they've done live was Chris Rock's special,
yeah, that comedy, but yeah.
which was actually pretty funny. If you guys haven't watched it, go check it out. It's pretty funny. But I don't know.
Now, question for you. So, um, your brother James Junkyard James
Mhm.
he put in the Discord that I guess roughly Raw hits like possibility of 70 million people in the states through cable,
Mhm.
and then I guess Netflix had the possibility of hitting like 270 or whatever he said 27 like 270 million through Netflix. Now, do you think that wrestling and Raw, like their viewership will go up if they're on Netflix, just because it has um the ability to be seen by more people, or like 'cause, if you go back and look at wrestling in general, like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, you go back to 2005, like between 2000 and 2005,
Mhm.
they're getting 5 million viewers an episode.
Right.
Now we're over here praising if we get 2.5. You know what I'm saying? We're like, it was a great week. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Um. So that's the tough part is because it's not controlled by Nielsen, which does the ratings.
Mhm.
First off, if Raw's ratings aren't going to matter in the way we look at ratings because Nielsen doesn't track that. Though I'm sure there will be a way for Netflix to give them numbers.
Yeah.
But I do. kind of think the numbers are going to go up, but it's going to be hard. It depends on how they track the numbers, because I think a lot of people with it streaming may not choose to watch it live and may just watch it after the
and
fact.
I think that would be okay too. 'Cause I assume Netflix has the ability to track how many unique viewers watched your
Right.
product and like
Right.
in the retention rate and
Right.
all that analytic
Right.
stuff.
Absolutely.
So I guess this will be another debate point amongst the IWC about
Well, they're
views
already
and ratings and all this stuff.
they already saying Tony Khan was such strong competition it kicked Raw off of cable. That's I saw that today and had a good laugh with that.
Just wait till Thursday. You have more of that on Thursday.
But with that, we'll move on. Wavy D here messaged me and actually reminded me it's actually this Royal Rumble is the 20th anniversary of Chris Benoit winning the Royal Rumble. Unless you ask ESPN, who'll say Eddie Guerrero did it. That's actually on their website that Eddie Guerrero won the 2004 Royal Rumble.
Really?
It really is. But he wanted to talk about Benoit, why we should remember him and his work in the industry. So I'm going to give the floor to you.
Wait, why do they say? Well, I know that they have the dark light, the no light on Benoit, but why does ESPN say?
I have no idea. I really have no idea.
Because so if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Benoit get his title shot at like No Way Out or something, and then Eddie won later that year at WrestleMania? Is that how it went?
I don't remember that far back, to be honest with you. I do know Cody was at Royal Rumble 2020 or 2004. Cody was there.
Because I can recall when Eddie won his title, him and Chris were in the ring with their titles together or something. I like for some reason that picture's in my head. Or did Eddie win at No Way Out? I think one of them won at No Way Out, and the other one won at WrestleMania.
That's a good question.
I'll look it up and I'll get back to you on next show about that. But yes, so for you guys, who remember or don't know or have been lied to or were not fans at the time, yes. 2004 was when Chris Benoit, saying some people might call him he who shall not be named or Voldemort or some stuff like that. But yeah, Chris Benoit, he won the 2004 Royal Rumble. We're at the 20-year anniversary, 2024. So one of the main points that I kind of want to talk about, something that not necessarily grinds my gears, but something that I feel is very hypocritical or, what's I'm looking for? Different, what's one I'm looking for? Not it's hypocritical, but held to different standards or
so like a double standard.
Yeah, double standard type thing, where we have, so when we put this out there for for all y'all people who be in the comment section, what Chris Benoit did was deplorable and tragic and his fault, and he was a crazy dude. Yeah. It was, saying no excuse for his actions. Okay. We're gonna get that out in front. Okay. But for everyone who wants to, who talks about separating the person from their art, separating the artist from their art, separating the person from their art, from their work, like you can't tell wrestling history, I feel, without touching on Chris Benoit. I feel like Chris Benoit was such a very important and a very important and very big part of wrestling history, wrestling culture. He did a lot for wrestling industry, and I feel like it's okay to to recognize and talk about how good he was in the ring, while also remembering what he did was a terrible thing. You know what I'm saying? We have individuals, like R. Kelly, who, he did terrible things, what I'm saying? Some might say even worse, some might say just under what Chris Benoit did. Some people rate their stuff differently. I think what R. Kelly did is right up there, right below what Chris Benoit did, me personally. And people still play his music. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, Robert Kelly was a bad man, but R. Kelly made great music. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had supervisors at my college, who were like heads of organizations. I don't want to put out their specific organization, but very integral organizations at my university, who said that exact quote. Robert Kelly was a bad man, but R. Kelly made great music. I was a DJ. Why not play R. Kelly music? I think it was very appropriate. But I think it's okay to talk about what he did and admire what he did in the ring. You have examples of Karl Malone, who just this past year or so, when the All-Star game was in Utah, they were honoring this man, showing his highlights, having him out, part of All-Star weekend. Meanwhile, it's these are not allegations; these are proven facts that he was a 20 or 21-year-old college student who had sexual relations and got a 13-year-old pregnant. But everybody wants to put that, under the rug and forget about it and admire his basketball accomplishments. Remind you, he was 21 and got a 13-year-old pregnant. Proven in the courts. 99.3% match. He was the father. So don't come at me. So if we're giving people like Karl Malone and R. Kelly these passes, why not, acknowledge that Chris Benoit has history, and you're putting a bigger spotlight on him when you're editing out all his editing him out of historic clips. Like, for example, when you saw Randy Orton's very first title win, you're like, oh, who do he pin? Like, when they show the clips, they literally show him holding the title. They will show him RKOing and pinning his opponent. They just show him holding the title. And when they do show him pinning, you can't even tell who he's pinning. All they do is show him holding. All you see is the guy's boot. Like, you wouldn't even know Randy Orton beat Chris Benoit for his first world title. And so, I feel like also, if you're gonna keep acknowledging what Vince McMahon did for the history of wrestling, he got his demons too. So I definitely feel like it's okay to acknowledge what he did and acknowledge what he did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can separate Chris Benoit from Christopher Benoit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my last point is, he got his other son, who, wasn't the one that was with him, but his other son, who somewhat wants to get into the wrestling business, and legally he wants to use the name Chris Benoit, but if he does that, he's gonna get blacklisted, or he's not gonna get promoted. And I feel like we have plenty of stars in history who got their demons. Why are we signaling out this one person, even though it was tragic? But if wrestlers can move on and talk about him in documentaries and whatnot, why can't the fans, unless you got to watch all his matches and stuff, but just know the history of it?
Right. I'm actually right there with you. I'm going to second what he said. What Chris Benoit did, no one's going to sit here and say he did the right thing. And I know there's going to be maybe some listeners who are like, well, he was framed. We're not even going to get into that debate.
We're not getting into all that.
I don't even care about that. What happened. People lost their lives. And I think it's a little bit insensitive to try to spin a conspiracy out of it. And that's just my take on it. But yeah, I mean, we can't not deny the history of Chris Benoit. He was, what was his name in New Japan? Was it Black Laredo or Black
Tiger? I think it translated to Black Tiger or something like that.
Yeah. And so we can't take that wrestling history out of the history books. It literally happened. He won the 2004 Royal Rumble. He, dominated the 90s in multiple promotions. And I don't understand why we have to remove him. Like you said, we can acknowledge he did some bad things outside of the ring while still acknowledging, he had a hell of a career. To me, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I understand why he's not, but I would put him in there. There's a lot of Hall of Famers in the WWE Hall of Fame that have, like you said, done just as bad, if not worse, than what Chris Benoit did. And so, yeah, I do think we should memorialize his career and be able to. It's sort of my same thing I say with Hulk Hogan. Terry
Yeah.
Bollea, I don't care about what he did. Like, yeah, he did some bad things. He said some bad things. He's asked for forgiveness for them, and so I'm going to give that to him. But Hulk Hogan as a wrestler, probably the most important wrestling figure in history.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the IWC especially has a hard time differentiating between character and the real person.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is because the wrestling that they like, it isn't gimmick based. So, like, Eddie Kingston is Eddie Kingston outside of the ring. He's the same in the ring and outside of the ring, and which is why I tend to like WWE a little bit more, because there is that separation between character and the person playing the character.
The wrestling they like
Mm-hmm.
is what caused Chris Benoit, in my opinion, to do what he did.
Absolutely.
The wrestling they excuse on a weekly basis is the same type of wrestling that made, in my opinion, Chris Benoit do what he did.
Absolutely. And this may be insensitive. This may be a hot take, but I believe at the current rate they are creating more Chris Benoits. I believe Darby Allin will have worse CTE than Chris Benoit had.
Is this stuff a lot of head stuff, or is this stuff more the rest of his body? I feel like Darby will go down the Jeff Hardy path personally.
More than likely, that's probably. Didn't they just wrestle too? That's funny that you said that, because I think they just had a match.
They did, yeah, on free TV, Rampage.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they're creating that style of wrestling is what created the massive brain injuries, and that's a whole other thing we could talk about. WWE realized, hey, CTE's a real thing. No one knew about it in the early 2000s. NFL didn't, WWE didn't, but I'll acknowledge WWE here. They found out about it. They realized it's serious, especially after what happened with Benoit, and chair shots can't happen no more.
I forgot. I remember another part of my rant.
Go ahead.
We have folks who dress up as Ted Bundy for Halloween.
Right.
They dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween. We got documentaries and TV shows and books and everything written about these guys, quote unquote, glamorizing them and what they did, and fantasizing it. And we got folks dressed up as these guys for Halloween, and we got folks who forgave O.J. Simpson for what he allegedly did. Like there's numerous people where this double standard is not being applied to. And there's other people who have felt the same kind of erase from history as Chris Benoit. But I feel like in the wrestling world, I feel like he's kind of a singular case of everyone just blacklisted his name, blackballed his name from existence. I feel like he's for my knowledge, is the one guy of importance that everybody has blacklisted from history.
Right. Yeah, I the only other name I could think of that maybe got the same treatment would be Jimmy Snuka, but even still, they still sort of acknowledge who he is.
Bro, he was in wrestling video games growing up. He was in SmackDown versus Raw, probably 2005 through 2008 as unlockable characters.
Right,
and he allegedly killed someone.
Right. So, yeah, I think this is sort of just an argument. I don't really even want to say an argument, but just a debate that the fans will continually have. I think we have to memorize what he did. He changed a lot of, he was important for a lot of reasons in wrestling. There was a lot of big segments, without Chris Benoit, and him and Eddie were super close friends, and I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those characters that I get what he did was wrong, but I don't think we can't remove him from everything prior to 2000 and what 4 or 5 when he
Yeah, I think it was 2000. Well, no, Eddie passed away in 2005.
5. So it was
He
like
he, he passed away in 2006.
right, right, right. That's right. So we can't remove him for what he did in 2006 and just sort of forget everything before then, because everything before then is what we should, you know.
He passed away before he passed, or well, not passed away. He did what he did. I believe it was before a pay-per-view. He was a no call, no
Right,
show.
right. It was
I
like the
want
day of.
I want
Yeah.
to say it was Vengeance, maybe.
I think it was in. I know it was in like Minnesota or something like that.
I'm pretty sure CM Punk was his replacement for the match. If I can recall correctly, I think it was 2006 Vengeance, maybe. I'll let y'all know next show. I
Alrighty.
definitely want to hear Cody and James's point of view on this.
Right. Absolutely. So moving on, we'll move into predicting the Royal Rumble here. We only have 4 matches. We have the 2 Rumble matches. We have the Fatal 4-Way. And then we have the match between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. I think we may get another match made on SmackDown. They tend to do that like the Friday before the pay-per-view or PLE. They always add like a 5th match.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it would be because everyone else should be in the Rumble, but
yeah.
So we'll start first with. I don't want to say it's not important, but it is sort of the piss break match of Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. I haven't been paying attention to SmackDown, to be honest. So I want to make sure I got the story. The story is basically like who can hit the right hand first, right?
A little bit, not too much. So from my perspective, the story kind of goes like this. So Kevin, you remember he was punching Theory and Waller backstage, and then he was getting into it with Logan Paul, and Kevin Owens used his casted hand to punch Logan a couple times, and then Logan, was like saying, when we have our match legally, you can't wear your thing, you can't wear your cast in the ring. If you do, you forfeit the match or whatever. But because Logan was like, it's a weapon, and if you use it, I'm gonna get my lawyers. I'm gonna tie you up in legal work. But meanwhile, Logan, just last year was about how he had like a metal screw in his hand.
Right. Right.
But no, I mean, they had a really good segment on the KO show. If you have a chance to watch it on YouTube or whatever, Logan was cooking on the mic, bro. Like there was Chef Logan in the building.
All right.
It might not be a pee break match. You might have to go during the commercial breaks. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a good match.
All right. Who do you think wins it?
I think Logan Paul wins. I'm putting money on Logan Paul, and okay. I'm gonna end that Logan Paul wins because we have some community questions that I don't want to spoil. Giving you the rest of my prediction, I'll just give you Logan Paul wins.
Heard you on that one. I do as well feel it's going to be Logan Paul simply because we're in WrestleMania season and you're not going to take the belt off him until we get to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And that's simply the only reasoning I have for it. So then the next match is the Fatal 4-Way. And before we predict the winner, is this going to start the show or end the show? That's the only place the only 2 places that I could see it. Is it going to start or end the show? That may ruin your Rumble prediction though, because if The Rock plays into it or not.
No. Let's see. So if it comes on last, what are we thinking? We open with the women's or open with the men's Rumble?
So yeah, I actually do believe the men's Rumble is going to start again this year.
Okay.
Because so I had that before I even considered The Rock playing a part in the Fatal 4-Way.
Okay.
I just assumed. I feel the women have better potential returns than the men do.
Okay.
So like I feel like let's say Sasha Banks does show up, you want to end with that. Unless the men bring in MJF, then you definitely want to end with MJF.
I doubt it. I got him my surprise entrance, but
right, that's one of those ones where like I don't. I we'll talk about it when we get to the Rumble itself, but if it, I do think the Fatal 4-Way ends the card. I think we end with
what I'm thinking is we start with the men's. You have the U.S. title match, the women's, then the Fatal 4-Way. I'm like, I think there has to be another match, like a pit.
That's
like,
what I'm thinking. I have a feeling
match. So you can't.
Right. So they put themselves in this really cool position. If they do create a fifth match, which I think they will on SmackDown. Initially, I thought it was going to be the tag team championship, but they set that match for next Monday, between DIY and the Judgment Day. And so that's what I thought the fifth match was going to be. I have no idea what this fifth match will be now. If it's a SmackDown match,
maybe we get like a Waller effect. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
like
there does have to be a segment in between the third and fourth match. There has to be.
Like I don't know. I'm thinking. Okay, so if the fifth match does get announced or whatever planned on SmackDown, what SmackDown program can you kind of put on a pay-per-view of like the Royal Rumble or premium live event on the scale of the Royal Rumble? Like it's not enough time to like bring in Ray versus Santos. I feel like Ray might return to Rumble or something.
Have they been building something with Street Profits, or they have a name now? I forgot what it is.
They could do Lashley and the Profits versus Cross and
AOP. Yeah,
that's been going for like 3 weeks.
Right,
2-3 weeks.
That's the only thing I could think of. That they put in there, sort of as like a slow down, sort of like get the crowd sort of rested for the Fatal 4-Way type thing.
Maybe the women's tag match ends in shenanigans and you push it on to Royal Rumble.
Something like that.
Right. I don't think Kaden Carter and Casey are big enough for the Rumble yet, like big enough for the PLE yet. Like, you got the Kabuki Warriors, but I don't think that the actual champs are big enough for the PLE yet. My point of view. I don't know. So it's just I guess you go Lashley and the Profits versus Cross and AOP. I guess that's the role if you want to put a fifth match in there.
That's the only thing I can think of, because you already have both men's titles, unless you want to do EO defending against somebody, but they haven't really been building her towards anything.
Yeah.
So
what, EO Meechin, you run it back in the Rumble? They had a really good match on SmackDown the other week or last week, whatever it was. Yeah, banger match. You try somebody to run it back? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I do think they need a fifth match though. Sort of like a cool down. But we'll go to predicting the Fatal 4. I don't really think there's much to predict. Roman Reigns retains, doesn't he? Or
yes. So okay, so you got Roman, AJ, LA, and Randy.
Right.
So I mean, like, everything points to like Roman retains, and like they try to push him to that third place spot, take Hogan's record.
Right.
Because like literally WrestleMania is the last chance for him to lose it until you're going to the record. Because like at SummerSlam, you're only like 2 months away at that point. You can wait 2 more months at that point.
Right.
So like WrestleMania is that last point to jump off the ship until you got Riot to the third streak, the third record. So I'm gonna say Roman, but I feel like it's interesting if you explore other ways. Like if The Rock costs him the title and you like somehow give it to Randy, put the title on Randy.
You read my mind. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Randy versus Cody at Mania, Punk versus Rollins. I don't know. I'm gonna say Roman for prediction purposes, for the tally mark. I'm gonna say Roman.
Yeah. Same thing. I do think it's gonna be Roman retaining. But I think if you're going to cost him the title, this is the only time this year that it would make sense. I know the Rock said, I think he was on First Take today.
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I saw a
He
couple
said
statements.
he said basically he there may be a chance that he wrestles, but he likes the build more than the match itself. So that leads me to think that they're going to try to draw this out, and we can't. I'm not sure if I can take 6 months of Roman and Rock sort of feuding with each other.
I think if Rock comes out at Rumble, I think it's after the Fatal 4.
Right.
Like, I mean, like logistically, you gotta build Roman back up a little bit because a lot of his his defenses were, has a good match, but then he's on the ropes and the bloodline
Right,
bail him
right.
out. So like I think like you might bury talent a little bit, but I think if you put this match like how Roman won his title in the first place when he stacked Bryan
Yeah.
and Edge on top of each other, if he stacks Randy, Knight, and AJ on top of each other and pins all three of them,
Right.
asserts his like ultimate dominance, put them back on top.
What I would like is if this match is the end of the show, I'm assuming Solo is going to be in the Rumble. I would like no help for Roman. I need him to win this one clean.
Yes.
Stack him like you just said and win it clean. No Roman, no Paul Heyman interference. No special Fatu member. None of that. Just win it clean. You have enough talent here to where people. First off, I think that would surprise a lot of people if he won it clean. And yeah, I think he does need to do that. Let's go sort of in the fantasy booking mode. If he does lose the title, it's Randy. You think it's any of the other two, or is it?
Nah, AJ. He's been gone for a while. Also, I feel like amongst the fans, he's 50-50. Like some people love AJ just for the history of it.
Right.
Some people are just like AJ doesn't quite scratch my itch. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? LA Knight, I feel like he's still really awkward. Like he has really awkward offense. You know what I'm saying? He could talk his ass off. I feel like in the ring, he's a good wrestler, but his offense is really awkward for the defense to take. And I don't see LA Knight as your WWE champion. He can hold the world heavyweight championship that Rollins got.
Right.
He's not holding that undisputed title right now.
I feel
so I think Randy's the only one with the caliber to do it. Randy, the fans love Randy. He's top 4 popularity, top 3. And also, this gets us one step closer to Randy versus Cena for the record-breaking 17,
I like that. 17, yeah.
Record-breaking 17 down the line. I think Randy's at 15 right now, 14 right now?
He's 15 or 14 or 15. I don't remember exactly.
I think he's at 14 if he wins.
Right.
He'll be at 15.
Right.
And then he just needs to win like one more title. Maybe he gets the world heavyweight. And then he's at 16, vacates it. Him and Cena, end of an era for the record-breaking 17 title.
Right.
Loser retires match. Boom, book me.
I like it. Especially with Cena saying that he ain't got much left. We got to get that. Has to be Cena's last match. I'm sorry, it's got to be him against Randy. That's got to be the retirement match
for the 35th time. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I could sit there and watch all 30 something matches they've had. Those were some of the best matches I remember. So let's talk about these two Rumbles. We'll start with the women. So what we'll do is our good friend in the CWC, Snuggles, has a game that we're all in, and we basically send in our pick. So we'll sort of just go down some of his questions he asked. So we picked 3 different winners or people we thought were going to win,
and we ranked them
right. So I'm going to so you go ahead and give your answers. Who do you think? So it's what he did.
My number 1 is Bayley for the Women's Royal Rumble. Who's your number 1?
My number 1 is a dark horse. I don't know if she actually wins, but it's Jade Cargill. Yeah. When I made this was before I I realize what they're probably going to do, and it's going to be Jade versus Bianca at Mania.
Yeah, we did ours a couple weeks out. We did them like the
Right.
same night, a couple weeks out.
Right. But yeah, I do have Jade. I kind of regret making that my pick, but we're going to stick with it. But here's your number 2 potential winner.
So, Jade Cargill did not make my top 3.
Right.
My number 2 was, I might want to switch it now, but what I have currently locked in is Bianca Belair at my number 2.
I have Bailey at number 2. I really think there's a strong chance Bailey wins this. And then your number 3.
And my number 3 rounded out was Becky Lynch.
Okay, that's a safe. I have Kairi Sane.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a damage control turn in some place, shape, or form. I have predictions that we'll talk about in a minute of how I think that's going to happen, but it would not surprise me if Kairi wins this and sort of does the Batista Triple H turn, where Batista won the Royal Rumble and Triple H tried to have him. Was it JBL? He tried to get him to face.
Yeah.
And Batista then chose Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could have that type of match between EO and Kairi. Okay, I think we could go down that path.
So you're thinking that maybe they're making the Bailey turn too obvious, or the Bailey turning on Bailey a little too obvious that they might
So my actual sort of prediction goes into sort of a spoiler of who I think is going to be a surprise pick, but I do think it's going to be Bailey that turns, and I think it's going to set up Bailey, Sasha, and Trinity or Naomi, whatever she goes by, versus Asuka, Kairi, and Io, probably at Elimination Chamber, but that's assuming the other 2 show up.
Okay.
But if that doesn't happen, it wouldn't surprise me if a turn happens with Kairi versus Io, because I know that's been a match that's been rumored that the fans want, and it would be probably one of the better matches of the year if it did happen.
See, my thinking, the reason I got Bailey number 1 is, the main reason I don't have Bianca and Becky up there is because I feel like the Royal Rumble should be, the winner should be kind of like someone to elevate them to that WrestleMania spot.
Right.
I feel like people like Becky, Bianca, like Cena back in the day, like they didn't have to win it. Leslie, he didn't have to win it. Like those guys can literally just walk out there, have the star power to say, "I want a match."
Absolutely.
For the title, and they can believably get it. I feel like events like Rumble and Money in the Bank should be given to those to elevate them.
And that's part of the reason I don't think Becky's going to win, because didn't she just walk up to Rhea and say, "I want to beat you"?
Yeah.
So I Becky Lynch is, she was my 2023 Women's of the Year Wrestler of the Year. She has the star power and the resume to just walk up to any women's champion and say, I'm having a match against you.
Yes.
And so I could see her winning it, but she doesn't have to win it. I think I'm with you. It should be a person that gets elevated, similar to when Charlotte won it. She did elevate Rhea that one year at WrestleMania for the NXT title. And so I think we should do something similar to that, where it elevates. And Bailey does need a little bit of a push. Yeah. So
she's only one of the four horsewomen to not main event Mania.
Right.
That brings me to another rant that I'll hit you with later on.
Right.
My final 4 for the women's is, my top 3: Bailey, Bianca, Becky. I was throwing in Sasha Banks for my final 4.
Sure, I'm with you on. It's going to be my top 3. So Jade, Bailey, Kairi, and my 4th is going to be Nia Jax.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I would not be surprised if she wins it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. There's a strong chance, the way they've been booking Nia Jax here recently,
and The Rock being on the board on the directors, board directors.
WrestleMania might just be any Samoan gets a match, and
they spawned another one. You saw that, like Roman Reigns' cousin or something. They started training. He looked just like Jimmy and Jay, bro.
Yeah. There's one of their
Jason,
younger
maybe, I think his name is.
yeah, I think like their the youngest brother, because there's 4 Fatu brothers.
Oh no,
And,
this one was Roman's cousin
oh,
who
oh,
wasn't
okay,
Jimmy and Jay's brother.
okay.
Different
That's a
cousin.
lot. There's a lot of them.
Oh,
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
oh. Who's your surprise entrance for the Women's Royal Rumble? If you want to give your criteria for what we
Okay.
established as a surprise, but
So surprise for me is anyone that hasn't wrestled since, I think what we said, SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Okay, so yeah, 2-3 months. That makes a lot of sense. Now the obvious one is Liv Morgan. That's not actually on my list. I think that's the obvious one. I think you have her.
No,
You don't. Okay, so
unless that's who I switched out Cora Jade with. I had Cora, but
right.
I switched it.
So my list, I've already mentioned 3 of them basically. Naomi, Sasha, and Jade, I think will be surprise entrances. I then added Tiffany Stratton because I think if there's an NXT call up, she's the most ready and obvious pick to put up here. Plus, I think I was watching Santi's app and he mentioned this that
Santi.
he believes there's gonna be 2 NXT call ups and it's gonna be the 2 that had feuds with Becky. So Lyra and Tiffany Stratton will be the only 2 NXT call ups, is what he believed. Tiffany's going to be in it. There's just no way you don't put her in that.
Mm.
Now, the last surprise entrant is actually, it's a tag team, and it's the Iconics.
Iconics.
I think Peyton Royce and Billy Kay are on their way back.
The inspiration.
The inspiration.
For y'all TNA lovers.
If anything, definitely Peyton Royce. I don't know if Billy Kay. I haven't heard much about her, but I have definitely heard about Peyton. But they're going to Australia next month. That's where they're from.
Mm.
So I definitely can see them coming back.
I'm thinking of fantasy booking right now.
So what about you? What's some of your surprise entrances?
So I got 5 names.
Okay.
Jade Cargill, Trish Stratus, Naomi / Trinity, and Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné. My 5th one was Cora Jade, who I believe was definitely in the cards until
the unfortunate
prayers to the girl. You know what I'm saying? She broke her knee and broke up with Braun Breaker. So you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Shout out to my girl Cora Jade. I emailed Snuggles and he approved my substitution. I put Roxanne Perez in that spot.
Okay.
She does have 1 Rumble under her belt. She was in the one from last year. So
she does.
I got
a little bit of some gripe I got against NXT here. I'm gonna just go ahead and use this since you mentioned her name. Why the hell did Roxanne Perez win the 20-woman battle royal?
Because
for Vengeance Day, she don't need the belt again.
Yes, she do. she's like the most like the one I have the biggest connection with. You know what I'm saying? As
right. I feel that, but
I don't know about you. Lyra Valkyrie does nothing for me when I watch her. I saw her live. She does nothing for me personally. I like Tiffany Stratton. She cool.
I feel that because when Lyra debuted, I thought the same thing. It took the Becky Lynch feud to get her over with me, but even still, she is a little bit, and the whole little thing they got going with Tatum Paxley sort of like stalking her and like it's I don't know, it's a little bit weird.
So you're more of an NXT guy. You're more into the NXT people than I am.
Right. When
I was watching the 21 Battle Royal, you know, I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go on YouTube. They got the full match on YouTube for y'all who try to watch it. But you know, when it came down to the final 4, I'd be hearing the names. I know they were kind of important, but I know Roxanne Perez. You know what I'm saying? She got that. She got the Booker T rub of approval. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel that. Let's see.
Oh, and yeah, I think the Royal Rumble for the women's is a SmackDown winner. I think because the men's is Raw. Like
absolutely.
And WWE was smart about this. They took all the top men from SmackDown, put them to fill 4. That way they weren't chopped liver in the Rumble.
Right. Okay. So then the next one, Do you think a male gets involved? No, I
Uh,
don't.
unless it's Tozawa, but nah.
Right. Um,
Most eliminations.
most eliminations. I actually have Nia Jax with this one.
I got Jade Cargill. I think it's a way to make her look dominant in her debut without her winning it.
Right. Absolutely. Um, and then let's see, longest entrant. Who do you think's gonna be in that longest?
Liv Morgan.
That's actually I've heard that a lot from people.
I think she enters like 4 or 5 or something, and like Mason's like the final 6 or something.
Right. I actually have Kyrie. Basically, I have her at number 2 and lasting to the final 4. And then so this was actually fun what he added. He had us pick number 1, number 2, number 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So who are your first 2? Because 1 and 2 are technically the same entrant. Who starts the match for you?
Chelsea Green. You know what I'm saying? You give her time to walk to the ring, get her, get her persona. Chelsea
Right.
Green, she's a star, bro. She might have the best
Absolutely.
in-ring skills, but she
Right.
got the persona of a
Right.
star.
Absolutely.
And then number 2 walking out with her, Maxine Dupree. You got the 2 beautiful gals who you give Maxine a little chance to,
Right.
so she got a little bit, a little wrestling while the ring's not full. Even though her lack of ability might make her better for like when the ring's kind of full.
Right.
But I already got it. Chelsea Green, Maxine Dupree, my first 2.
All right, so y'all gonna laugh at mine. Of course, I already said Kyrie is gonna be number 2, but I got Natalia at number 1. Just get her out of the way. But not as interesting as his start of the match. Mine is.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to think I'm an Italian hater. I am an Italian hater, but I respect her while I hate her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm saying I think she got to take that Titus O'Neil role, be an ambassador for the WWE. She's a great person. We just not connected.
Right. Who's number 5 entrant for you?
All right. This girl is top 5 of Wavy D's babes of the WWE. Okay,
Yeah.
top 5. Zoe Starks.
Oof. I don't know if I got. We're gonna have to debate this list of yours, but no. Number 5 for me is Nia Jax. I think she's also gonna last a while. Who's number 10 for you?
When I think Nia Jax, though, she's that person who comes in when the ring is full and everybody kind of sits stills and watches her. 5 too early.
We'll see.
Number 10, I got the Pitbull, Ivy Nile.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good spot for her. Enter a little early. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I got Peyton Royce here. A little bit of a play on her husband, which we'll probably talk. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah.
Number 15.
Number 15, I got The Lights Go Dark. It's a May and I feel the glow. Naomi comes out. Number 15.
Oh, that'd be crazy if they turn the lights off in the middle of the match.
And then the lights go out, and then you look at the ramp. There's a pair of glowing shoes come out.
Ooh, I like
the jacket. Get a little Y2J or white Chris Jericho jacket.
Right.
And then just feel the glow.
All right. 15 for me is Bailey.
Okay.
I think this is about the area where it's enough time for her to sort of say I was in there for a long time.
Somewhere I got her at 13.
Okay. Who's number 20? I really need to question
Bianca Belair.
I really question my decision making here. I have Dakota Kai in this, but I don't even. She can't wrestle.
She's not even here yet.
I really question my decision making here. We're just gonna say that didn't happen. Who's number 25 for you?
Jade Cargill.
Okay. I got Shotzi at 25. This feels like a place Shotzi would show up. And then you're number 30.
Sasha Banks.
Mine is Jade Cargill. I think Jade's gonna win from number 30. That's what I absolutely believe. I don't necessarily. I like your idea of having her come in and destroy people and get the most eliminations, but I think for me, I don't know if she's ready yet because we haven't seen her in the ring yet, and so I don't want her to potentially expose herself. And so I think she comes in with like 5 or 6 people left in the
Mhm.
Rumble, and doesn't really have to do all that much to
At
win.
that point, though, if she comes in at 30, she wins it.
Right.
You got to put her at WrestleMania in the big lights
Right.
championship match.
Yeah.
With a girl who don't speak English, respectfully. So they can't call spots on the fly.
I feel you on that one. I feel that. I feel it. My idea though when I picked this though was more of I felt Jade was going to pick Rhea as the match.
Okay.
And then my idea was Jade and Rhea and then Bailey and Io
Okay. Okay.
at Mania. That was my idea. Um
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We got different women's matches in mind.
right. All right, so let's move to the men's. Same idea here. So who's your number 1 winner?
Ugh, CM Punk.
Yeah, same here. CM Punk. I think this is probably the most obvious pick.
Is it too obvious?
That's the thing I've been thinking the last couple of days. Like they've made it super obvious, or make it feel super obvious that they're going to swerve us and go some other way. Like R-Truth is going to end up winning this thing. And
Ooh,
who's your number 2 winner?
Drew McIntyre.
I have Gunther. Gunther has declared
Okay.
for the Rumble, right?
Yes.
So I think Gunther could potentially win it.
In my booking, I got Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
And that's why I have him. I think Brock will be involved and will be the one to eliminate Gunther personally. Yeah. Or Gunther eliminates Brock, but that's probably going to be the match. Will be Brock and Gunther. And then number 3 for you for potential winners.
My number 3 was for style points. I was reaching here. It's very unlikely, but I got MJF as my number 3 winner.
So you're reaching, and I'm also reaching because mine's LA Knight. Now, picture this. This is why I think the Fatal 4-Way needs to start the show. And have it be like 15, 20 minutes. Give LA Knight time to sort of be like a surprise entrant towards the end to give this idea that he may win.
Okay.
I still think there's enough fan power behind LA Knight to put him in a situation to where he could challenge for a world title down the line. But I'm with you. He can't hold the undisputed. Give him the world heavyweight. That's fine. But he can't be the top dog to me. Who's your final 4?
It's wild though. Neither of us got Cody Rhodes in our top 3.
I'm tired of Cody. I'm fucking tired of seeing him on my screen. To be honest,
I want something different. I want Cody to win the Chamber to get a shot at the title.
Right. I feel that. That was also my mindset.
My final 4 is CM Punk, Drew Mac. Oh, I hedged my bet a little bit here. I hedged my bets. I include MJF in the final 4. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Braun Breaker.
Oof. So I have Punk, LA Knight, Gunther, and the main man, Dominic Mysterio.
Okay. I'll get to Dominic later in this prediction.
Okay.
He's an answer for one of mine.
So let's name your surprise entrances, all 5.
MJF, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Ty Dillinger, aka Sean Spears, and Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder.
Right. So I have Dillinger and Ryder as well. I have Carmelo Hayes. I have Braun Breaker. So you had MJF. I don't, because I don't actually believe he's coming to WWE. I think he's secretly already signed with AEW, and he's hurt. He's legit hurt, taking time off. I do have a special entrant from a different promotion though, and that is Okada. The rumors are really heating up this week with him coming to WWE. And I've heard these rumors since about November, and then they sort of died off. And then the rumors were, because he's been working with TNA the last couple months.
Yeah.
And so then I thought he was going to sign there, but he hasn't signed there yet. He's still free agent. Now, the problem we have is his contract with New Japan doesn't end till the 31st.
Yeah.
However, I wonder if part of the deal of sending shit, who was it? They
Oh, boy.
they're sending someone over to WWE, sending someone over to Japan. I think it's Dempsey
Okay,
to fight, and I wonder if part of the deal is we get Okada
a little early.
a
Yeah.
little early. But I don't know.
So
If I think he comes to WWE if
the
not Rumble, then definitely
the
at some
the,
point.
the rumors heated up a little more today,
Right.
saying that I forgot the name of the company, or the journal or whatever. It started with a P, but their sources were saying that there was a higher up New Japan talent who is close to Okada that said WWE is pretty much a done deal. That he's coming to WWE.
That makes me so excited
And
because
also,
here's the
realistically, how much money would it be to buy out the rest of his contract that last week or whatever?
right. But that makes me excited for two reasons. Because Okada said he wants a challenge. Well, AEW is the same thing as New Japan. There's no challenge there. You're gonna be doing the same shit that you've been doing. Same thing if you go to TNA. You're gonna be top of the card, no challenge. Come to the one place you haven't been to,
Mm,
and that's WWE. I think him and Shinsuke will get involved,
I
and
mean,
that's going to be the Mania match.
mm,
Um, so we all agree Raw's the winning brand, since we both have CM Punk.
yes.
Do you think a female gets involved?
Rhea Ripley.
Absolutely. That's the only female I could think that gets it. She's the only one that makes any
And
sense,
she's not even in a match, so she got nothing better to do.
right? Absolutely. Um, is there a faction member that eliminates another member of that faction?
R Truth eliminates JD, and then Damian Priest eliminates R Truth.
Okay. So I do have R-Truth as it, but I have him eliminating Priest. He's been fucking with Priest a lot here recently, including Monday night.
Yeah.
And so I think Truth eliminates Priest. Who do you have with the most eliminations?
Gunther.
I like that pick, but it's not my pick. My pick is Solo Sikoa.
Okay.
I've been saying, and I hope I'm right, that Solo Sikoa will have his breakout year in 2024. And this is how you start it. Make him dominate the Rumble, but not win it. I think he comes out super early, maybe like 10, 15, around there. Actually, I don't even have, maybe sometime around 10 to 15. He's not on my list there. But who's the longest entrant to you?
Dominic Mysterio.
I'm with you on that one. Dominic.
Dominic can be thrown out right away or
Uh-huh.
last forever.
Right.
I think he breaks his dad's record, even though it's not.
That's
the
exactly
record anymore,
that's
but-
exactly where my head was. And so when we come to these entrances, I have him starting the match. And I think he goes like 65, 70 minutes, breaks his dad's record, and then gets
No.
eliminated.
I'll save it for after this because I don't want to ruin the mojo of the predictions here. But I got a Dominic scenario I want to fly by you after.
All right.
My
who's your number?
Oh,
Yeah,
my winning number is 27.
Mine's 22. I think Punk comes out 22.
If I'm not mistaken, 27 is like the third winningest number.
Yeah.
It was the most winningest for a while, but then 30 and like 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Are tied or whatever, or 30th took over, and then it's 1
Right.
and then 27.
Right. Who's starting the match for you? Who are your first two entrances?
All right, we're starting us off with a banger.
Oh boy.
Finn Balor. And is Dragon Lee healthy?
He is.
Healthy enough?
Yeah.
Finn Balor and Dragon Lee. That's a banger.
Well, especially now that Dragon Lee is healthy now, but I think tonight he's fighting Obafemi and for the title. Oh, he just looked over. Are you watching NXT?
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but it has something to do with the world title picture.
Oh shit! Don't now I gotta end the show. No, I'm kidding. We'll watch it in the morning. That's what it. I forgot to put a number 5. Who's your number 5? I got to go back to my email and see who I.
No, number 5 is Cedric Alexander.
So yeah, I got an email like a week after I put this in from Snuggle saying you forgot a number 5. So now I got to go back in and see who my number 5 was that I sent to him.
Okay. Well, why look at your email? So the reason I got a little excited looking at the TV is there was more tension building up between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and then Dragunov was on the outside being held back by officials.
Okay.
And then it looked, Carmelo was giving Trick Williams the look. Trick Williams had his back turned.
Right.
Carmelo's giving the look. I thought Carmelo was about to jump him, but they're slow burning it still. He ain't doing it.
They're
yet.
slow burning it.
Okay,
so number 5 for me is Tozawa.
Okay, we got similar kind of talents.
Yeah.
Lower card guys who are good wrestlers, but they're not shining right.
Right. Number 10.
Shining though.
Number 10. This is easy.
Ty Dillinger, baby. Sean Spears.
Yep. Without a doubt. If he's here, it's 10. And this is an area where you can turn the lights off and just the music 10. Oh man, I will jump out of my chair. I really will. Number 15.
Chad Gable.
I got Damian Priest at this point.
Okay.
And I also think by 15, all 5 members of Judgment Day will be in.
Okay.
At that point. Who's number 20 for you?
The Nigerian Giant Omos.
Let's go. I don't have him on here, but number 20 for me is Okada. I'm sort of going off of history. Like Edge returned was like 21, and so around here is where that big return happens.
Yes.
So 25.
25 is the boy Bobby Lashley.
Okay. I have Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
And then who's number 30 for you?
MJF.
Yeah, I got MJF as well.
I had to hedge my bets, but MJF.
I have that as well.
Now we're kind of past the Rumble predictions a little bit. My prediction on Dominic Mysterio is, or my question is, will it be too redundant if we kind of go back to the Dom and Ray kind of storyline, and we get that hair versus mask match at Mania this year? Or is it too soon to revisit that? 'Cause I know Ray just signed that new contract, so he's not going to be leaving yet. Or are we into that Santos versus Ray kind of thing now?
I'm leaning more towards Santos and Ray. But I could see them going back to Dom and Ray. It wouldn't surprise me.
Especially if a certain someone returns and takes Santos's attention away.
Is that certain someone named Andrade?
Andrade, yep. Or you guys' attention with what's his name? You got Carlito's the head of LWO. If Andrade comes over, takes over LWO, and then you got like Andrade, and then his boys Wild and what's his name versus Legado del Fantasma or whatever. Excuse my Spanish. I don't know. I guess it's too soon, but I want to see that Ray versus Dom, hair versus mask, or hair versus career, something kind of match. Like I just want to give Dom that ultimate heel heat, and like he'll go Super Saiyan 3 type shit. Like right now, Dom is Super Saiyan heat. I want to see that Super Saiyan level 3, like Ultra Instinct heat.
I feel you. I think eventually we'll get it. I do. I don't know if this year we'll get it. But I wouldn't mind it. Especially, I definitely think Judgment Day needs to sort of just break up. It's kind of becoming that comedy gimmick again. But let's move forward. The next thing was just the questions from our Discord. So if you guys are not in the Discord and you're listening to this, Go click the link. You can ask us topics or questions, and we got a lot to cover here. First one is from Kara. What is something that you and DJ Wavy D would change about the Royal Rumble annually to make it more fun? I think you gave your answer on the Discord. Uh, what would be something that you would do to make Royal Rumble a little bit more fun?
I forget.
As an audience?
I forget if I answered her question in the Discord, but I do have this like okay. It's like a whole other match that
Right.
involves the Royal Rumble. You mix the Royal Rumble with the Money in the Bank,
Okay.
and you get like 15 competitors that come out, every like 3 minutes or whatever, and they enter into this ladder match, almost like a Royal Rumble, like Money Bank hybrid. That's a little out of the fucking wazoo. So what I would do for the Royal Rumble is I like what they did this year, where they only like announced like 5 names per each match,
Okay.
and then kind of like everyone's kind of surprised. Like I hated like where it got to the point where like with Vince's
Right.
creative, where we had like 27 names around the fucking jumbotron advertising the match, and
Right.
like
And,
you got
and
like
then the three extras. Then the 3 extras were Hurricane,
Jerry Lawler.
Bubba Ray, and Booker T.
Exactly. So I do like how they have the less names.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I guess I would change it from because I do feel that that this might be another conflict that arises at this year's Mania. Instead of promising a main event title match, just promise
Just
a title
a
match
right.
at WrestleMania.
I like that. I like that as well. So my answer to this is I actually like the way NXT did that women's 20 woman battle royal, and then you got to the final 4, and it became a fatal 4-way match. I think that changes Royal Rumble significantly in that, let's just take my top 4. Let's say you have Nia Jax, Kyrie, Jade Cargill, and Bailey in the ring. In a over the top rope situation, that could be hard to get Nia Jax out of the ring. But if I have to pin her, okay, that's easier. And then I don't have to worry about eliminating 3 other people. I just got to get 1 pinfall. And so I think that changes the dynamic. And that doesn't have to be it that way every year. But I think doing it every now and then makes it a little bit more entertaining. Maybe even like AEW used to do their like battle roulette or whatever they called it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And
The Casino Battle Royal.
yeah, where they had like 10 people at a time enter, and then they had the Joker person to end the match, doing something not necessarily like that, because AEW fans will then complain that we're stealing from them. But I don't know, just changing up the format of Royal Rumble every year to.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Oh boy.
I know you're not a fan. I already know you're not a fan. We talked about it a little bit before. But what TNA kind of got their own Royal Rumble, but it's like an intergender Royal Rumble. I know you hate that, but that's like one thing you could float out there. Or a tag team Royal Rumble, where tag teams enter together and the winner gets a tag team championship match.
I like that. Now, is it so? Let's say we do the tag team one, and let's say the Usos aren't together anymore, but let's say they were. Is it you need both people eliminated separately, or if one goes over, the whole team's out?
I think they go over separately.
Go over separately.
Both guys gotta get thrown over.
Okay, I like that's the way I would do it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on. Who I think the Witters asked this one. How do you think the elimination chamber matches will be booked? Sometimes we get a title defense in each match, or one's a title match, one's a number 1 contender. I personally think the women's will be for the title, Rhea's title, and Rhea's going to dominate because it's in Australia.
Okay.
And then the men's will be a number 1 contender match, and Cody Rhodes is going to win.
I'm gonna throw a couple scenarios at you.
Okay.
So the question kind of got answered a little bit on this past Monday Night Raw, but when we were going, in the Discord, when we were speculating if Rollins drops the title, what happens? And I
Right.
was like, the winner of the Rumble versus the winner of the Elimination Chamber.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So that way you get like Punk who wins the
And then
Rumble
Cody.
versus like Cody wins the Chamber.
Right.
Punk versus Cody at whatever, or like Drew versus Priest, or you can you got different ways.
There's some things you can do. Yeah, I like that. I
Um,
actually like that a lot.
Another way is I feel like the women's one is kind of set in stone where you got Rhea doing her thing,
Right.
but I definitely think it's time to have another tag team elimination chamber. I like the one they had. I forgot how long ago it was, but I enjoyed the tag team elimination chamber. I feel like it would be nice to bring that back. A lot of people to kind of coordinate in a giant cage match essentially.
Right.
I feel like you can get a lot of stuff done in there, especially if you do a men's one. You can do a women's one too. They build up a lot of women's tag teams, but imagine like a elimination chamber tag team match of DIY, Street Profits, the Creed brothers.
Oof.
Oh,
don't even get the Creeds in
AOP. And then you got the tag Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
You cooking right now.
And then
bro, the Creeds and the
New Day.
The Creeds and the Prophets and the Chamber, that'll be crazy.
Boy,
that'll be crazy.
Book me, Triple H, book me, bro.
I'm catching the flight to Australia.
Bro, I'll book you mid card. I'll give you the match. Triple H, you just gotta get us to the match.
Right. Let's see. So I think Witters asked this one as well. If Seth is actually hurt and will miss WrestleMania, how would you book CM Punk's road to WrestleMania? I think it's easy. Put him in. I need Punk and Cody if that's the case.
Seth is hurt and he's not going to be at Mania. Punk Cody, he kind of called it audible.
Right.
Like, if we get Roman versus Rock, Cody,
so I hate to say it,
but
right,
is the Rock,
so I hate to say this, but Seth Rollins, if he is legitimately hurt, this is sort of like a blessing for the booking team, because there was a lot of clutter with if Cody wins and Punk wins, like say Cody wins the Chamber and Punk wins the Rumble, well Punk would choose Seth. Which means we would have to get Cody versus Roman, but then we have The Rock also, so now that puts one of these superstars.
Well, I mean, that's assuming that the men's Elimination Chamber match is a number one contenders match and not just a men's tag match or a
right.
I'm cooking right now. A men's United States Championship Elimination Chamber match.
Logan Paul.
Look at Logan
Montez Ford.
Kevin Owens.
Montez Ford cooked last year in the Elimination Chamber.
Ricochet, Bronson Reed.
Woo!
I'm cooking over here,
Chad Gable.
I
know he's on Raw, but
Gunther IC Elimination Chamber match. I'm cooking, bro. I'm cooking.
So now that you mentioned that, there's a guy we never talked about maybe potentially coming back, and that dude's name is Sheamus. And I think that he's coming after that IC title. I think he's going to switch to Raw now that they removed. They moved Pete Dunne because now that they fucking ruined him back to fucking boring ass Pete Dunne. I know that's going to piss people off, but I preferred Butch over Pete Dunne.
Okay.
Just as a character, because I knew this was going to happen when what's his name Ridge left. That Triple H was going to revert Pete Dunne back. He's a Triple H guy. I get it. It's fine. I don't really care. I just, at least with Butch, he had a character that's not just, I get in fights and I'm a bruiserweight. I don't know. I was never a big fan of Pete Dunne in NXT. Maybe that's just my hatred for Black and Gold showing. But
you were coming to a good point before when you were talking about there's too many cooks in the kitchen. And so if Seth goes down or he is hurt and who knows what happens, it lightens up the load for creative, because right now you got possibilities of people who are in the kitchen right now. You got The Rock, smell what he's cooking, Roman, You got to
Right.
do something with Cody, something with Seth, something with Punk. You got Drew McIntyre up there. You still got Priest with the contract. You just got too many people trying to cook right now.
Right. And I don't know about you, but after that promo with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk on Monday, I need that match as soon as
Ooh.
possible. Because
You thinking Chamber, or you think that's WrestleMania?
it has to be a Mania match. That's the only place I could see it actually meaning anything.
Mm.
Um,
So did you do like a? Do you find some way to just do like a blood feud where like they both kind of get distracted and are because like you got like you have the potential of like 3 or 4 men's matches that can main event both nights.
right.
So that's why it's tough for the women this year. We're like
Right.
the women are great wrestlers, but their stories aren't quite where the men's are right now. They got the talent in the ring, but
Right.
like Rhea right now, she's not really in the story with anyone. Saying hers
That's
is going to be strictly Rumble related, maybe Chamber related.
right.
Io, hers is going to be strictly Rumble related. Like they don't got the blood feuds that where it's like we're booking it for 3-4 months out.
Right. Right. Witters asked this one. This is a little bit to lighten the load here. Which are better, waffles or pancakes? It's a great question.
I'll let you go first. I'm curious.
I'm going team pancake.
Okay. Okay. I got a complicated answer.
My answer was complicated too. But I sort of simplified it. I think I don't really care because they're technically the same thing.
No, they're not.
Oh, it's batter that's fried.
It's not the same thing.
They're the same thing.
No, it's not.
All right, what's your answer?
All right. On average, okay? On average, pancakes are better.
Okay.
But the best waffle is better than the best pancake.
Okay. I will say this. It depends on what I'm eating with them. So like if I'm just doing like breakfast where like bacon, eggs, sausage, I'm going pancake because that's more breakfasty to me. However, waffles, like chicken and waffles, without a fucking doubt.
Fucking Southerners. He's like chicken and waffles. Oh, no, they're both breakfast food. Don't let them fool you. Pancakes and waffles are both breakfast food, bro.
Mm. But I think if I have to give an answer, I would prefer pancakes over waffles. That's just me though.
Whether it's let me know if you agree. Whether it's pancakes on average, but the best waffle is better than the best pancake.
All right. And then he also asked, convince us casual fans why should people who gave up on AEW tune back in?
Shouldn't. No, I'm joking.
That's my answer. You shouldn't. But
no. Okay. So people who gave up on AEW. So I guess the real questions are: when did you give up, and why did you?
And why did you give up? Right?
Because AEW, as much as we like to bash on it, it has its place in the wrestling world, and it's a good thing that it's around.
Right.
Is there things that we don't like about it? Yeah, there's plenty of things we don't like about it. But AEW as a living promotion is good for business. And so if you want to see who can bust out the biggest tricks and the biggest move sets and use everybody's finishers in one single match, go ahead and watch AEW. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see some cool moves. You're gonna see some athletic motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see some good stuff. And they're gonna tell you they got storylines. Their storylines are all strictly match driven from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't had too much like outside the ring match stuff outside the devil. A lot of their stuff is like, oh yeah, we got a blood feud between these guys that go back decades, or so you should have seen them back at Starcade 95, bro. Oh my god. These guys on the playground back in kindergarten, you ain't see that mixtape back in the day. You see that TMZ clip? That
right.
Yeah, like, they got like this is in the ring storytelling. Like I'm the best wrestler there is. Like if you want to, So if you want to see that and just see them competing as if it's a real sport, I hate people hate when they use the word real and fake, but if you want to see them compete as if it's real and they got the rankings and not all wins are created equal, but we still have rankings to show how many matches you won, even though you beat up 55 jobbers. You know what I'm saying? go watch AEW. You know what I'm saying? It's more wrestling. If you like wrestling, why not watch wrestling another 2 days out of the week? Do you
Right.
think?
So for me, I do agree. It depends on when and why you gave up. If you gave up on them like I did because they tried to portray themselves as an alternative, but just really want it to be competition, and I'll be honest, I gave up on AEW because of their owner. I just he lives in a delusion, and he thinks he's better than he thinks he's hot shit in this business, and he doesn't listen to anyone who's giving him constructive criticism
Mm,
who's been here before. If he would have just listened to Eric Bischoff when Bischoff came out, he didn't come after your company. He was giving you advice.
yeah.
But then you started critiquing him, and now he fucking hates you. Um, and so uh, I think as a fan, they do have a lot of good. I like Osprey. I'm waiting for him to show up. Because he still hasn't debuted there yet. But Osprey's good. I'm assuming MJF does show back up there, and so as a
Mm,
casual fan, that's definitely the biggest draw. But you also have guys like Daniel Garcia and Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
mm,
Um, Not much so on Big Bill, but definitely Ricky Starks, who can do the sort of sports entertainment stuff. The problem that I have with it is even when they try to do sports entertainment, they don't tell stories with it. It's just
mm.
a bunch of random like dancing in the middle of the ring. And so that's where sort of my disconnect is. Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely give it a shot. I will definitely say it's a niche product. It's definitely needed in the industry.
See, where they really lose me, and why I never was fully on board in the first place, was that us as wrestling fans, we know, or we should all know, that the all the products are scripted. Okay,
Right. Right.
I feel like we should look at it as a masculine soap opera, a male soap opera. That's
Absolutely.
how I look at we look at it as like a movie, a play, a series, if you will.
Right.
It's a TV show.
Right.
Like we all know it's scripted, and we should know that. But the way they market themselves and the way their fans kind of treat it, they try to treat it like an actual combat sport,
Right.
where like these guys are, you know, really trying to f each other up, and this is wrestling. Like what I'm saying, like they're really trying to treat it like a
So
combat sport and
right.
portray it as a combat sport. But it's like everybody knows it's scripted. We know it's predicted. Already given outcomes, and most of the spots are known ahead of time. You got people calling the ring, but like we know it's predetermined. We know it's scripted. So like enjoy it as a TV show and stop trying to. I mean, do your thing as an alternative, but like you're really trying to promote it and pass it off as legit combat sports. And and like you got Tony Khan, who is the owner and the runner of it, and he like promotes it himself as like a combat sport, where like I feel like you would get a way better reception if you just like you handle the business stuff in the background, but get like an on-screen authority figure who like, hey, here's the reason why y'all two are having a match, not like, hey, you're 5-2, he's 5-2, let's see who's number one contender to get this
Right.
to
And
be 6-2. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon because they are restarting the rankings again.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if I wanted to watch combat sports, I'm not watching AEW. I'll just go flip the channel to UFC.
Even ECW had storyline. They didn't portray themselves as combat sports. There was more just like where guys were gonna hate each other with freaking weapons
Right.
all day. But
Right.
they had storylines.
Right. And that's where they lose me. It's the lack of storyline. Moving to the next question. I don't actually remember who asked this one, but
I have it written down. Which one you want? The one about the legends?
yeah,
B Master.
B Master. So, do you think any legends will be in the Rumble? And if so, do you think they'll actually make an impact or just show up for a pop?
The answer is no. They won't have a significant impact.
Right.
There's probably some who get 2 or 3 eliminations. Say like your Michelle McCool's of the world might get 2 or 3 eliminations. Trish Stratus might get 2 eliminations. but they're mostly there for the pop and the nostalgia and the look at our legends. You might get a Hurricane Helms appearance. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But yeah,
The biggest one I've heard is X-Pac.
yeah. But
That's
even him he's pop and he's nostalgia.
he'll get a pop, maybe an elimination or two. I think we'll get the random announcer that gets. So what I'm really hoping, and this isn't a legend, but I need a Corey Graves in this match
Okay.
because the rumor is that he's been training, assuming that he can get cleared from his neck injury. Now he hasn't wrestled in like 10 years,
Well, from my understanding, he's been clear for a couple of years now, a few years now.
right?
He's just recently, getting back in the train, but he's been clear for a little while.
And so if Corey Graves' music hit,
I
I
don't
may
know.
be the only one,
I don't know
but
what his music is.
it hasn't been played in about 10 years. But if it hits and Corey Graves stands up and gets in that ring, I may be the only one, but I'm gonna pop a little bit because uh, from the little bit I saw him in NXT in like 2013, 2014, he was one of my favorites.
Is he wearing the ripoff suit? You know, what I'm saying how is he going to hide it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. From my understanding, though, he wore like pants and like a shirt anyway as his ring
Okay,
gear.
it'd
So
be a little easier to change into it.
yeah,
Like we have Michael Cole who had the full on orange suit
my God,
under
Michael Cole.
his business suit.
And then the last one, I know B Master did this one. Why should I be watching Raw instead of NXT? So that's his question. So what we're going to do on this one is you're going to represent Team Raw because you're Team Red, and I'm going to represent NXT. So I'll convince the audience why Raw is better than NXT. It's not going to be hard. It's actually pretty obvious. But
So the reason you should watch Raw is because, for one, if you're a casual fan, we got the household names.
right.
We got the people y'all know. We got the people that you want to know, that you knew, that you heard of. You know what I'm saying? We got CM Punk. We got Cody Rhodes. We got the Creed brothers. That's crazy how I named them third. The Creed brothers. But we got Mommy. We got Dom. We got Finn. We got Damien. We got Alpha Academy. Like we just, we got the best of the best. We got the great storytelling. Honestly, we got the name, the history. We just got the brand, okay? We are the flagship show of the longest running episodic weekly television show in history, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. More than the Simpsons, more than Family Guy, you know what I'm saying? We there. We the ones. We the ones. That's all I gotta say.
Look, Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, hire this man to represent your brand. No. So why should you watch NXT? I want to go ahead and preface this and say NXT is in my mind the best show, but it's definitely like a C tier show. So like it's not better than Raw in terms of name power, but to me, I think it hits what I want as a wrestling fan, which is gimmicks, stories. If you want to sort of, I think some of the matches are you can definitely tell are super green, but I think it's just an enjoyable 2-hour time period where you'll see 15 different characters, every person on the screen from the extra in the back, that's the newbie trainee, or to Cora Jade or whoever, they all have a purpose. And it's just, I think a lot of it does have to do with circumstances because it's a 2,000 seat arena. It's free tickets, so of course it's going to sell out. It's the same fan base. It's the hardcore NXT fans are there. And so my major selling point is the gimmicks. You get to see a bunch of people who they may not be household names, but they're definitely like stars in the making. And you get to see them grow and become the superstars that they can be. Some more than others. Braun Breaker's definitely more than ready to be on the main era Raw or SmackDown. But this is sort of a hard question to answer because I don't think that NXT is better by name power. Raw is definitely the A show. I'd say SmackDown's the A show, but in terms of you got Roman Reigns on the show, and so it's funny though when you list the name of people. I didn't hear Rollins.
Yeah, I didn't say Rollins. I didn't say Gunther.
Right. You
Logan
forgot
Paul. Okay,
Jinder
SmackDown.
Mahal. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, in this year.
In
No,
this year, but
a point that you left out, I feel like I thought you were gonna say was that, especially if you try and convince what his question said, or that was Williams' question about casuals.
right,
But the reason you want casuals to watch NXT is it's easier for them to understand and get behind.
right.
Because
You're right.
every
There's not
wrestler got they roll, and it's easy to grasp and digest what their
right,
role is.
and it is a lot more logical in how things happen. So, for example, I'll give an example for those who don't watch NXT. There's a character. His name is Eddie Thorpe. He's a Native American, and that's basically his gimmick. And that's what he plays into. There's another Native American character who just broke out in the breakout tournament. His name's Trey Bearhill. Some of these names suck, I know. But he actually got attacked by Lexus King, and that's how Lexus King got in the breakout tournament. Logically, though, when you see two Native Americans, instead of, acting like they never met each other before, they put them on screen together and they're like mentor mentee. Now they're both going after Dijak. Logical booking, not like death match. Who's the best Native American? 7 weeks in a row, we're going to put them in a match to see who can win the first of 4. Like some companies would do. Like it's more logical. You're in a way, for a casual fan, you can tune in, not watch the week before, and you'll know exactly what's going on. The stories aren't super nuanced. They aren't super hard to follow.
They're almost cartoonish in a way,
right?
Where it's like
and that's one of the big
right.
It's one of the big critiques that AEW fans give to it is, I tuned in for the first time in X amount of years, and it feels super cartoony, which to me, I like that. It makes it easy to follow. It becomes more of a TV show than an actual sport that I have to follow. And so I think as a casual fan, there's definitely some benefits there. And if you are looking into watching NXT, you don't really need to ask me, because Vic Joseph and Booker T do. We got Booker T on commentary too. That's all I need to say. But yeah. I think that's the last question we have, unless I missed one.
That's all I have.
That's all I got. So the last thing we're gonna do is just we'll end the show every week, and we're gonna call it Thirsty Tuesday. And so the idea of this segment is I'm gonna pick a female wrestler from WWE main roster, Raw, SmackDown, from NXT. One from AEW, and then one from the Indies / TNA. The third tier, sort of like tertiary brands. Most likely people haven't heard of before. And the idea is you get an opportunity to take one of these 4 people on a date. Who are you picking? And we're gonna start very easy this week. So the 4 choices are Asuka, Tatum Paxley from NXT, Deonna Purrazzo from AEW, and then from TNA we have Killer Kelly. We'll have Wavy D go first. If you know Wavy D, you know his answer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. For all my wavettes out there, you know what I'm saying. For all my wave riders, for all my day ones, you know the kid going with. You know the boy going with. None other than your multi-time women's champion, multi-time women's tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner? Yeah, Royal Rumble winner.
Longest ever NXT women's champion.
Longest ever NXT women's champion. Former Money in the Bank winner. I'm going with the beautiful, the deadly, the ravishing, the strong, the angelic, but at the same time demoness. I'm going with the one and only Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, the Empress of my heart. Asuka.
All right, and if y'all know me, this is easy for me as well. I'm going with the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo. It's sad to see that she went to AEW, but I understand it. She did not like her time in NXT in 2018, and I get it. I do. But yeah, not much more to say. I've already basically talked about her enough in other episodes. Superstar. You know, she got a little bit of a little thickness to her, which is what I prefer. Um, and so yeah, Deonna Purrazzo. We're gonna make it a little bit more difficult next week.
I'm looking at these pictures. Second place, I'm taking Killer Kelly.
Killer Kelly's. Whew, and her gimmick, she plays like a crazy. It's not exactly like lesbian, but boy, she was in a dog collar match with whoever her tag team person is, and that got hot real quick.
I've never heard of Killer Kelly before, but I might have to look up some of her matches.
She wrestled in NXT UK before COVID hit, and then they sort of got rid of all of it and released everybody.
So what's your rankings of these four? We should rank the four in your in your personal order. The ones that you. So
okay.
where were we answering again? Who we find the finest?
Or who would we take on a date? But that basically, most men would think of, I'm taking the hottest one. So
Asuka get that great personality too.
Right.
So the only one I know personality wise, because
right.
You know what I'm saying, we talk every once in a while. Take an Asuka number one.
Right.
I'm going Killer Kelly number two. You ain't gonna like this, but I'm taking Tatum Paxley number three. Deonna Purrazzo. I don't know if it's just a picture you got up here, the picture that you put in the chat. I can't even see her eyes. She got makeup on. I can't even see her eyes.
Man, it's all right. That makes it a little bit easier for me to do what I'm about to do. So one is Purrazzo, of course. Number two is Tatum Paxley for me. Number three is Killer Kelly, and this is no offense to Asuka. Look, I'm sure she's a wonderful woman.
You need to pick her best picture either. Like in the thing, you need to pick her best picture, bro. I'll send you the good pictures.
Yeah, but yeah, Asuka's gonna go number 4 for me. But that's that. It's been a fun episode. It's been a long one. We had a lot to talk about. Next Tuesday, we will be breaking down what happened at Royal Rumble, seeing if any of these things that we predicted come true. Talk about the news that happens and
the Raw after Rumble.
The Raw after Rumble is going to be big. We got an IC match with Gunther and Kofi, the tag team title match, Judgment Day versus DIY. And I'm sure
does Damien cash in? Who knows?
Does Damien cash in? What's going on with Seth Rollins? Maybe a little bit more heat between Punk and Cody.
Does R-Truth get involved in the tag team title picture?
Right,
Jimmy.
Raw's heating up here. This Raw picture,
Team Red, baby.
Where SmackDown's sort of cooling down because Roman's not here. SmackDown's heating up because they got. But we'll see all that, and hope you guys enjoy Royal Rumble on Saturday. I know Gunther said Sunday, but it's Saturday. Saturday live from St. Pete / Tampa Bay. Royal Rumble 8 p.m. Enjoy it because Elimination Chamber is a 5 a.m. show. So,
well, what are you doing on Thursday? By the way,
on Thursday, that's right. On Thursday, me and Wavy D will be on the Beyond the Junkyard podcast with Junkyard James and K-Dog Cody, talking some Royal Rumble as well. We're going to represent the casual fandom because there's going to be a lot of hate for us casuals in WWE, and we're going to enter that fire and extinguish it and tell you why Royal Rumble is gonna be great. I don't know exactly what they're gonna ask us, but
it's gonna be a little heated. All right.
but at least I got backup this time. Normally I'm by myself.
I'm bringing the smoke.
He's bringing
You know what I'm
the
saying?
smoke.
I'm D'Angelo Dawkins. You know what I'm saying? Angelo Dawkins. You know what I'm saying? But my boy over here. You know what I'm saying? This is Montez Ford over here.
Oof.
Well, we want all the smoke. All right.
We want the smoke. But with that, this is the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast. Thank y'all for listening. If y'all tune in Thursday, I think it's supposed to be a 9 p.m. start, but they always start late. But that link will go in that Discord. And we'll see y'all then if you watch then. If not, we'll see y'all next Tuesday right here. And until then, y'all enjoy Royal Rumble, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. 'Cause lately I've been seeing